man, if it wasn't for you, I would have never even got that experience. So I love you for it.
I love you too, man. And I'm so grateful. This has been honestly this will be one of the most rewarding things of my life.
So yeah, that was a lot of you just dealing with like the red tape of trying to get us the money and having to break it down.
Yeah.
So do you remember the story where your boss, and I don't want to say his name, but your boss ended up going with the agency, and then they dropped the ball, but then didn't they come in and then pitch me as the director, and you lost your mind?
I know.
I thought you pitched it, and they came back saying, "Oh, we talked to Roy, and he's in," and you're like, "Yeah, he's in because I told him to be in."
Yeah,
or something like that.
There was a.
So what was that you were? Because that was when you were doing the triple bidding, and you wanted me to do it from the beginning,
yes.
and then I didn't get the job, and you like lost it. What was that story?
I think it partly was because we had.
You were
some
like the Larry
money.
David of Alcatel.
I was happy that people just trusted me to be honest about like the
options, and I was
on,
I still am honest about the pricing.
That's it.
Yeah. And so what was happening there?
I think they had some retainer money or something that was unused that they needed to use before the end of the year.
And this was like a big product launch too.
It was one of our bigger phones, like a big screen phone that we were launching at Metro and T-Mobile, and I mean, they were going to be using a different agency, and I was basically like, okay, why? Is it just because of the retainer? Like, we have to use that money up? And they're like, well, that and you've worked with Roy on a lot of these things. Maybe we give somebody else a shot. And I was kind of like, fair enough. Like that, I guess that's the whole point of like bidding these out, is to like keep it competitive, not to like, it wasn't by any reason you didn't do anything wrong. It was just
no, I get it. It's part of the business.
Yeah. So I said, okay, let's see what they come up with, for concepts. And we used my storyboard. Same thing.
So you're paying them to come up with a
storyboard
concept.
I wrote, and they didn't come in with an idea that fit with what we were looking for, which does happen.
Yeah.
And luckily I had some ideas on it. And
which you're paying for, by the way.
Exactly.
With an agency, which people don't understand, is that like the agency is supposed to come up with ideas that you want to use. Yeah, so it's a bad look when the in-house employee, Scott,
they always get paid for that.
But I think if they're on retainer, they're saying they're not getting paid, but they're on retainer.
They basically, I don't know if that's how they do it or not, but I definitely think that they do spend time. If you're trying to book a job, you come in with your own creative ideas to like pitch, a pitch, in hopes that one of them is going to stick. If they don't, then it's kind of like, well, what do we do? Let's go back to the drawing table or have another conversation. But luckily, I was able to just be like, here's an idea, and I think everybody is already kind of on board with it.
Yeah.
But let me know. And so they took it and they said, we can do this. Yeah. And I was like, great. And there was some motion graphics involved, which is kind of new because it was a mixture of what we'd been doing with lifestyle and some of the stuff that the overseas team was doing with motion graphics. Yep. And I was like, okay, we need to incorporate some of that because I can tell that's being, liked.
A new thing.
Yeah. So they came back with a pitch of what it was going to cost and who they were going to book, and they pitched us a director team that was like a husband-wife team. Yeah. And I was like, do you have to book both of them? Or like, is it like, you can't do one without the other thing? And they're like, I mean, they kind of like, it's a duo team. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a cute idea, but okay. So we watched some of their work. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like they know what they're doing. Yeah,
of course. It's an agency. They're going to do a good job.
Right. But they were expensive to just have them come on. It was going to be expensive. Yeah. And so I pitched the idea. I was like, why don't we just have Roy direct it? Like, I bet I don't know if that would be a conflict for him.
Well, I remember it was like when they came in with their ideas, like your boss and everyone was like upset with like that they didn't come with anything. I remember you were like annoyed by that because you were like, what am I doing here?
Yeah, I was kind of upset because it was kind of like, well, are you guys, I felt like I still had to keep proving myself every year. And every year I almost had another boss. So it was kind of, that was kind of the case, right? Every time somebody came in new, I'd be like, okay, like I got to earn their respect again. I got to show them what I can do. And it felt like a daunting race at the end of it. And it was part of, my struggle.
With that, what was like with that job specifically then, so then you brought up in the meeting because you were like unhappy and you said what?
After the pitch, I brought in and we got into the conversation about who was going to direct it.
Yeah.
And I said, honestly, I'd feel really comfortable because I was going to be overseeing doing what I do on your sets, managing the phones and the tablets and the actors in terms of how to use them. That was a whole thing in itself, was like teaching the actors how to use the phone, hold it, whatever, clean off the fingerprints, make sure the battery's charged, all that junk.
Yeah.
So anyway, they said, you're still going to do all that on this production.
Yeah.
You're just going to be working with a different team. And I'm like, yeah, but every team works differently. I've never even worked with these guys. So it's like, I don't really know how this is going to go.
There's a rhythm that you're used to that now you
but
don't
I
have.
said, if you bring in Roy, I'd feel a lot more confident that he can direct it how I'm used to doing this.
Well, the annoying part on that job too, I think I remember this where you really stood up for me because you were always an advocate of me, but you like stood up for me. Like I say, like a brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because I sent in my bid for that job too, and mine was lower, and they used it to get the agency to lower their price.
Yes.
And I remember I was like, oh, dang, dude. I was like, and then you were like apologizing. You're like, Roy, I didn't know they were going to do that. I'm so sorry. Yeah. And I remember you were like, you would have your Scott moments where you get enraged. And you were so enraged by that. I remember you went to your boss and you said, don't ever do that to me again. Don't ever use Roy's bid to get who you wanted to get the job to lower their price.
Yeah.
I was like, that's dirty. Yeah. And I don't do business like that.
Yeah,
I remember that. I always remembered that because I appreciated that so much about you. Like, having my back in that way, because unfortunately that is a dirty side of the business is that people do that.
That's why they want 3 bids is be like, oh, this guy's lower. And then chances are somebody else will be like, well, we can match it.
Yeah. And then they're like, but we really want, and they just use the other people to lower their price.
Yeah. It's like, you should have came with your best price first, man.
Exactly.
That's it. Like, give me your best price first.
That's your best price. And it's like, if you want to just work with that person, then just work with them.
Right.
And trust that they're giving you the best price they can do it for.
Well, then also the fact that they had the audacity to do that, but then also they needed you to direct it. It was kind of a stab. It was like an extra stab. I'm like, it's just give him the job.
Yeah, it just turned into such a mess because I remember that I went through and I got everything together.
You brought Andy in too.
Yeah. I remember I came in and I put together the bid. I sent it to you and you were like, yep, this is another competitive bid by Roy.
Yep.
It's going to be better quality. Again, I'm not bragging about myself, but you were saying like it's going to be better quality at a lower price and he's going to do exactly what he does every single time. Yep. And then they took my quote. They made the company they want, the agency, to lower their bid.
Yeah, they came.
You lost your mind and said, never do that again. And then that's when you came into the meeting and said, why aren't you just hire Roy to direct it then?
Yeah, it seemed kind of a crazy idea.
I remember when she called me from the agency, it was such a bizarre phone call.
Oh, probably.
She called me because you were keeping me in the loop on all this drama.
Yeah, you joined a couple conference calls.
And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because like at that point, I was like, whatever, like I don't care, I get it. Like, like I was just always someone that like my work speaks for myself and my character speaks for myself. I don't need to defend myself. Yes. Like God will defend me, and I had you there, and I was like, Scott knows the truth. I don't need to like.
Well, you didn't have anything to prove to me.
Exactly.
Like, there was nothing to.
That's why I say it was like a true brotherhood where I'm like, I don't need, like Scott knows what's up. So I remember like when that happened and you told me that like, hey, they used your bid to lower it, I'm enraged. I remember being like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good. And you're like, it's unacceptable. And I was like, it's all good. And then I remember then when you went in there and then you called me and said, look, I just told them to hire you as a director, so you might get a phone call. Yeah. And I remember you saying to me, like, at this point, Roy, I'm so frustrated with this process that, again, I'm proving myself, and again, it's falling apart if they would just trust me. Yeah. You said to me, like, if you don't want to take the job, Roy, as the director, I totally get it, and there's no hard feelings between you and I. Mm-hmm. You were, like, so square with me through that whole process. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well, if she calls, I'll take the call and I'll see what I said. And you were like, well, just know that you don't owe anything to me. And if you don't want to direct it, it's totally fine. And I was like,
you were going to get the how-to videos either way.
Yeah, I was doing the how-to videos. Yeah.
Built that system.
Yeah. And like, I was like, okay, cool. And I was like going on vacation. So I was like, all right, whatever. I'll just, if she calls, cool. And I remember she called the day that I landed on vacation.
Oh, really?
And it was such an awkward conversation because she was like, hey, Roy, so, we came across your reel and we found you and we just thought you'd be a good director. And I was like, you're like lying to me right now.
Oh, I didn't know that was the conversation.
Yeah. Like she was like, oh yeah, like we found you. We thought you think your work's good, and like, Cause it, you know, like at first I think they asked me for an email. They like emailed me and be like, hey, we're with this agency. We like your work. Could you send us your reel? And I was like, what are you talking about? You just met with Scott.
I was literally telling them to call you.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
gave them your contact
Yes,
info.
exactly. And then they emailed me. So I was like, all right. So I emailed them my website. I was like, what are we talking about here? Like, I'm the guy that's been bidding and taking all of your work all these years.
Yeah.
And like crushing it. Like, you know who I am. And then I was like, all right, here it is. So I sent to my website. They looked at it. And then she called it was like their idea. Like she tried to present it as a way that it was like their idea that they're calling me. So she calls me and she's like, hey, she's like, hey, you know, so like, thanks for sending me your stuff. We all looked at it. We definitely think you're a good fit for this. You know, we really like your work. And like, you know, we just think it'd be a really good idea to just have you come on board. And I was like, I just remember saying, as she was like trying to like, she's like lying, you know what I mean? 100%. I just remember like listening. I just like looked at the phone.
I just don't know why. Like why?
I don't know.
Why?
She was playing some weird mind game. I remember just looking at my phone. I just interrupted her. I was like, yeah, hey, so-and-so, it's me, Roy.
Mm-hmm. I've already.
And she goes, oh yeah. And I go, no, I know what's going on. I go like, I've talked to Scott. Yeah. So like, I've been in the loop on this. Like Scott's told me to call you.
Here's what's
and
happening.
She was like, oh yeah. No, we talked to Scott. And I was like, I talked to Scott.
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I'm happy to do the job, but like,
so weird.
why are you playing this game with me right now? I just remember asking her that.
That's so
and
bizarre.
She was like, oh no, I'm not playing a game. I'm just saying like, no, I get it. It can be awkward that like we're competing over the same client. But my point of view is honestly, like there's enough work for everybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel like I'm trying to steal jobs from you or that you're trying to steal jobs from me. Like, they're our client. Let's just service them in the best way possible. I was like, I just want to be like square with you. Like, we don't need to do this weird thing. And she was like, oh, no, it's totally fine. That's how we are too. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, then why were you just lying to me?
Yeah.
And I was like, look, I go, yeah, honestly, like
this is somebody you guys should already know because you guys contract out people
for
work all the time.
That's how agencies work. They have directors on rosters and things like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, look,
it's just you weren't in their wheelhouse yet. You know, like you weren't a part of their
which is
network.
Like, that's what I like realized. I was like, yeah, because you're being all weird and competitive with me. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's why I just cleared the air. And I was like, yeah, there's nothing for us to be competitive about.
Yeah. It's
like
just,
they're a customer. Mm-hmm. They need an asset. Let's just deliver it. If I can deliver it, I'll deliver it. If you can deliver it, you can deliver it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to me. Like there's so much work. It's like that. People have these scarcity mindset. Mm-hmm. Like they think it's like, oh, it's like, I gotta get this job. Oh, I'm not gonna have this. I gotta weasel my way in and manipulate to make sure. It's just like, no. I hate that stuff. So I remember like calling it out on her, and I just said, look, I'm down to direct it. I'm not someone to turn down the job. Like I would have loved to do the job. So yeah, of course I'd love to direct it. In my mind, I was like, well, yeah, this is probably gonna be a way easier job because I'm not having to do the whole production. I can just come in and direct. Mm-hmm. So I was like, look, do you want me to do it? Because I'm not gonna do this. I was like, are you wanting me to direct it?
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna do this while we're looking at other directors,
right?
Like I don't have time for this.
And I already felt like I was calling out a favor, bringing you in. And a favor.
It really wasn't a favor because I was getting paid.
A favor to them because I was like, I felt bad, calling you up. I felt bad because I'm just like, here I am asking Roy to come in and direct somebody else's,
production.
Yes, because it's not happening.
They're
it's
dropping the ball.
Well, I wasn't seeing things coming together in a way that was like giving me any confidence.
I know. I heard all about it.
I just trusted you to be there, and honestly, you were like a warm blanket for me because it was just
man, we had fun on that.
If Roy was there, I didn't have to stress. I could just come in and focus on what I needed to focus on. I didn't have to worry about camera or gaffing, you knew we were getting it lighting. Done. Yeah. So
but I remember talking to her on the phone.
That was a big shoot too.
Yeah, it was a big shoot.
We took over a whole park in downtown. Dude.
Yeah, downtown LA. Yeah. We had the street shut down. But I remember I came in and I just remember saying to her, I was like, yeah, look, like I just told her from the beginning, I was like, don't play those games with me. I don't like that. I don't like that. It's like, I just said, I just want to do my job straight up. And so she totally changed her tune. And I remember then I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. I'll direct it. And then she was like, we worked out, how much. And I was like, all right, cool. And so then I remember when we went on set, then we ended up shooting and it was like so fun. Cause then I was like, what I actually said to her on the phone because it did rub me the wrong way in the way she was started the conversation and was like trying to like manipulate it into like how this was her idea when it wasn't. I was like, hey, well, with me, when I come on set, like I have to bring Andy. Andy's my guy who comes with me, and he handles all the phone stuff.
All the meat.
He knows
cards offloading.
And like I was just like, he just knows when I'm framing shots what you're gonna need in post for the demos, the 9x6. Like he knows, and me and him, because me and Andy know what we need to do. Like, okay, like I'm getting this shot of the phone screen. Will that track? Whatever
Is this
it is.
going to be wide enough to be on the vertical?
And it was like, so and we still work like that to this day. Andy's anything that I have to do, he's always overlooking the frame, and I talk to him as like from those tech where we're going to put text and things like that. So they were like, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. So then Andy came on. But I remember when we were on set then, that same girl, when they dropped the ball in the middle of the production, and I was just like, I was honestly seeing it for the first time. I was like, man, I can't believe these people get work, but it's crazy. Like these agencies charge a ton of money, and then they sub out to production companies like myself. They give them half the budget that they're getting from their client. And then they run them like a mess. Yeah. I was like blown away with like how unorganized the set was, because we had that shoot in the park that we had very specific timeframes. And then they didn't book the permit long enough. So now I had to cut my shot. I had to get all my shots, because me and you were all like, we need these shots.
Yeah.
So there wasn't an option of like, hey, we're going to cut shots. It was always like, Roy, how are you going to shoot it faster? So I had to think of ways like, all right, well then go handheld. Okay. Well, then like we'll shoot that here just to knock it out. And I mean, you would always have to have those discussions, which is frustrating if you're the client.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but we never did any location walkthrough with them.
No,
for any of this.
Because I was gone on vacation.
Yeah.
They called me when I landed on vacation, and I was like, well, I'm in Canada now, so I can't come back. So like I was just getting secondhand information from you and from that, which is still mind blowing to me that you were the client and you were doing things way what a client shouldn't be doing. You know what I mean?
Like on the producing side.
Yeah, you're like on the producing side.
Yeah.
And then what was funny about that I was disappointed with them, like it was a huge eye opener to me to seeing that like I am running my business correctly, because I had nothing to bounce it off of. Right. I only just knew from what me and you have built. So seeing and being a part of another's production, I was like, wow, we're doing a really good job in keeping streamlining, organized, communication. Because I said like that permit was when we were supposed to shoot in the park that night. I had something like 4 hours to shoot all this footage in the park, and it got cut down to half because they permitted wrong and didn't communicate with anybody. And I remember at lunch, she came up and told us that, and you were like, what? Because you were like, that girl was rubbing you the wrong way. You're like, what? And then I remember she like snapped at you. She was like, oh, is there going to be other things that go wrong in production? Yeah, probably. And I remember looking at you being like, I'm glad she said that and I didn't, because I have a temper, and I've always been very aware of like, don't shoot your mouth off, Roy, because that's how you lose clients. Yeah. And I remember like, yes, production is very stressful, especially when you're figuring things out. You're always, sometimes there can be a moment where like, I want to say something and I don't. And I remember she said the thing out loud, and I remember looking at you and Joel, and both of you just going, okay. And I remember looking at her going, hey, it's all good. I'll make it work. And then she's like walked away, and I was like, I remember that after that shoot, Joel shook my hand, your boss, and said, Roy, it was a pleasure working with you. And then they didn't work with that agency again. No. She lost that contract. I believe it was off that comment and the way she snapped at you.
Well, and there were other things that happened further down the pipe that were also stressful with the motion graphics end of things, because that was also really painful. But the editor that they had on it was, I don't want to say it was just they got a good final product. Luckily, it was a good final product.
I came in and
it was a rough road to get there.
We and you came into the edit room and figured it out.
Yeah,
and I only bring that story not to like trash that agency. I just share it because I want the audience to also understand that like if there's people watching it out there, like how important it is to be honest, to not play these games, these industry games, or like this like business
do the
mindset
work before you get there too. You know, like you guys had really tight shot lists. You knew exactly the coverage you needed to get and what, you know, if you did need to pivot, because there was always at least one thing
there's always something
wrong.
going to go wrong in production.
Yes.
And if you have to pivot, it's instead of like, just be honest.
Yeah.
Just
it's
like,
either
here's
a location
the
thing or a talent thing
and tell
or
the
a camera
client,
thing.
Yeah. And that's why I feel like what I learned working with you is like, I'm like that with everyone. I just tell you directly what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
like, okay,
there was a mistake or this changed or something happened. Like, we have to pivot. I don't want to talk about the problem. Let's start figuring out the solution.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't come and just give me the problem. You give me the solution.
Yeah, it's like, okay, hey, like this isn't working. We need to pivot, you know? But I do think the reason why I bring that story up is because if you're out there and you're running a production company or an agency or whatever you're doing in your life, and in film, is that like, yes, there's going to be things that go wrong. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I share that story about the agency because what it was, and I believe to this day, those principles, those core principles that I have at Tigheland of communicating honestly and being straight up and things like that.
Yeah.
Those are big benefits because you will eventually get exposed if you're playing a game. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened there. Like that whole story of that shoot, it's like, you know, using my quote to lower your price and then like, you know, not having the ideas and like pretending like you did when really Scott wrote them, you know, and then like having me come on and then it's just like, and then when she finally lost her temper with you, like I always remembered that. I was like, man, it is so crucial to watch how you snap, how you talk to customers, because like in the end of the day, it's like, sure, like Scott's my buddy, but if I start talking to him like that, then he might get sick of me. Or if he puts up with it, the next person might not, because they might not have that friendship. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like so important to be like, as challenging as it can be to like watch your tongue.
Yeah. You know, it does get stressful. And there's days, especially when you're out in the hot weather and 12 hours, 16 hours. Mood, yeah. You know, you're going to have heated moments, but like you said, we could shake hands at the end of the day if we ever disagreed on something and we never carried it out. You know, and we left it there and we moved on and you have to. Well, but it's good rules to live by.
Yeah, no, it's because I've actually, in my career, I've actually embarrassed myself like that before. I've been very fortunate.
Oh, me too.
Where I have you know, I once lost my temper with like a client, like we were talking over the phone about budget and like, you know, again, it's like, you know, trying to bring it down. And like, I do get tired of hearing that, obviously. 'Cause it's like, I get it if you want me to meet a budget.
The price?
But it's like, are you just driving me down for the sake of driving me down? Or are we actually driving it down because we're trying to meet a number? But then that means that you have to be willing to let go of some things too. Like you can't say like, I want the Ferrari, just make it the price of a Honda Civic.
Right.
It's like, those are two different products.
Right.
So I remember we were talking and I remember getting like upset and like losing my, not like yelling, but like I lost my cool. I remember getting off the phone. I remember like sitting in my office being like, oh man, like they just don't get it. They just don't. And I remember I just feeling convicted and like God just saying to me, he's like, yeah, you know, Roy, if that goes away and you losing your temper, that doesn't just affect you anymore. That affects your family. Like you got a kid, you got a wife, like, you know what I mean? Like they don't get a say in you losing your temper.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Honestly, you're probably one of the best people I know in terms of staying positive, dude.
Well, yeah, but I remember just like in that moment being like, yeah. And he's just like, yeah, like you got to watch your tongue, because remember what happened with the other girl. And if you don't watch your tongue, like people don't have to call you.
Right.
No one owes you. Yeah. No one owes you anything.
That goes for every industry, dude. I mean, think about, I went through this, funny enough, with, you know, we've been doing some remodeling and finding the right person for the job and finding it's a dance in a lot of different industries. I think a lot of people will relate to, but it's like, I'm always an advocate of being honest with people and being like, look, if this is what it costs to really do the job, let's be honest about it and fair about it.
And like you said earlier, you got to build that trust with people. And like I said, like with me, telling that story about like losing my cool, I remember like calling the guy back and just saying, you know what, like I lost my cool there. That wasn't cool. That's not part of what we were talking about. That's my own baggage.
Something else going on.
I apologize. And I remember him going, oh, I don't care. Like I remember he was like, oh, I don't care. It's just part of business negotiation. And I was like, true to a point, but I go, honestly though, like I don't need to be bringing that to the table. Like I'm all down for having like,
and that's a professional move.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm all down to be, junkyard dogs negotiating.
Right.
But when I'm taking it personal, it's like, that's weird. You know what I mean? But no, I always appreciated working with you. I love you. You're like a brother to me. We've had so much fun over the years. It's like just from personal life to like work life. And I feel like we did such a good job at managing it and like we built something together.
Yeah, it's really special.
Like not everybody gets to do that with such a close friend. Like you were one of my best men at my wedding. Same. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's such an amazing journey we've been on. Dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like now we're sitting here
we're both
like
single guys just running around LA.
Yeah. And then like now we're married. I got another kid on the way. I got 2 kids on the way now. And you know what I mean? Awesome, like dude. You're married and it's just like us sitting here like 10 years later, like reviewing our career together.
It is crazy. It is thinking back about the journey.
It's so great. Amazing. It's such a blessing. It's such an honor to know you and to call you a brother and a friend.
Thank you for saying.
All right, when are we going to work together again?
We've tried to connect on a couple of things since, and it just hasn't worked out yet. But I'm sure the time will come. I do miss working with you guys too. And
it's fun. I just brought you on.
Oh,
what happened? Oh, kill our headphones real quick. Okay, turn it back on. Oh, there we go. Did you hear that?
Yeah. The buzzing?
He's trying to end our nice positive moment there.
Yeah.
But
it was wrapping us up.
I just bring you on the show just to try and get you to give me more work. I'm like, oh no, this is all just a ploy for you to hire me on a job, please. I'm just joking. No, I do.
I always keep you in mind for sure.
No, I honestly mean that with all my heart that like you, like I wouldn't be here without the opportunity that you provided. Like literally this is built off the work that we're doing. Because it's like,
effort, dude.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that we're here, like I said, 10 years later and the Tigheland production is successful. We're working, and we're still doing great work and just all the lessons and all the like the growth and all of that. Like you need that opportunity to be able to do that. Life doesn't work where it's just like, hey, when I got it all together, then I'll get the opportunity. It's like, no, the opportunity comes and you just got to rise to that and learn and go through the growing pains and go through that. So man, if it wasn't for you, I would have never even got that experience. So I love you for it.
I love you too, man. And I'm so grateful. This has been honestly this will be one of the most rewarding things of my life.
Oh, wow.
This and all of this has been.
Wow, that's incredible.
I can't think of many things that I'm more proud of.
Yeah. No, that's great. So, that's beautiful. Yeah. No, thank you. We really got to have a blast together and we'll continue to work together.
I hope so.
Great. Yeah,
I hope so.
Obviously
you guys are a riot and you do great work. So
yeah.
I would recommend you to anybody out there. But yeah, thank you for bringing me on today to talk about that journey and reflect on it because like I feel like this is one of my favorite things to speak about is just like, it's not about, it was never about the raises and the promotions for me. It was being able to lift someone else up simultaneously, and have a shared experience where we both grew creatively and got to work creatively and accomplish something that will live on. This stuff's gonna live on.
Yeah.
And I haven't had kids and I don't have that real legacy piece of my life, and I think that is also kind of, it's something that I think anyone can relate to is you want to have something that you can be remembered for.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. Yeah, no, I'm so grateful I got to be a part of it and we got to build all this together. It's like, you're the only guy I know that I've done this with. I probably will never do it again. Really. It does say it's such a rare moment in time in life where you're just like our stories coming together and overlapping and then that happening.
For sure.
It really is
like a symphony.
Yeah. The symphony of our friendship.
So many layers. So many layers to this friendship.
No, it's been great. And I thank you so much. It's awesome having you on the show. We got like 2 hours here of recording. So awesome. This is great. So lots of content for me. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Say what's up to Yesenia.
Will do.
All right.
Thanks guys.
See ya. Till next time. Scott Murphy. Oh, wait. What are you working on right now?
In terms of projects?
No, where are you working?
Oh, Teslalong is where I've been for the last 2 years, just doing more of the same kind of thing, product marketing. I'm like a marketing director.
Yeah.
So I'm now like the Virginia of the company
like
that I work
at. The bosses that you used to have, now you're that guy.
Yes.
You're the boss.
But I've also, you are the one that put the camera back in my hands and helped me kind of rediscover
because you've been doing a lot of that stuff too.
My eye, my creative eye. So I enjoy just shooting. Just
to give like a quick shout, so you got race reels. Is there anything you're like promoting or anything like that, or like?
No, I don't want to make it about any of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're just doing your thing.
Yeah, I've got a couple projects I'm always kind of working on, but I always try to go out and take my camera with me someplace just to stay creatively sharp.
Yeah.
But I've kind of
take
pulled
great
back.
photos.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed having the creative ability to just go do my own work, and seeing you and watching you and learning from you has gotten me into a really gratifying space where if I do want to go create something, I can.
Yeah,
and it's a powerful thing, dude.
And it really is.
It's a powerful thing.
It is.
And I'm so blessed to have that you as a friend and part of. I consider you family, to be honest.
Oh yeah, you and your son are family for sure.
Yeah.
Look, there's an art to living. That's why the podcast is called There's an Art to Living.
That's it.
You know what's funny? Is I've been telling John Shefsky that the easiest day was yesterday, and he hates it. It's from the Navy SEALs.
I like that saying, actually. The easiest
I know.
day is yesterday.
If you've been through war, you know that saying is like, it's so funny. But John's such a gentle soul. He's like, I know to do that stuff. All right, thank you, brother.
Again, guys. Yeah,
love
appreciate it. Love you too.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Thanks.
Cut.